Yes, so tēnā koto, and haere mai to the first ever Global Impact Virtual Conference hosted by the ISTE community leaders. This experience will showcase how remarkable educators worldwide are making an impact in global education. So kia ora, my name is Michael Harvey. I am part of the ISTE Community Leaders Global Impact team, joining you today from Aotearoa, New Zealand. And being New Zealand, we always start with a karakia. So kia hora te marino, kia whakapapa punanu te moana, hei haurahi mā tātou i te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou e tātou katoa, hu e taki e. So may peace be widespread, may the sea be like greenstone, a pathway for us all this day. Let us show respect for each other, for one another, bind us all together. So I'm excited to be your host for this session titled Gender Gap in Technology in Education and AI. Our presenter for this session today is Sandy Bansal, joining us from the UK, where it's warming up now, it's spring, with over 25 years experience as an educational leader and a computer science educator. She is deeply committed to inspiring students from diverse backgrounds and all genders. Her teaching journey has taken her across various age groups, from grade 4 to adult learners, where she has covered a wide range of subjects, including coding, computer science, design processes, engineering, science, maths, and technology, always aiming to make learning engaging and enjoyable. Her teaching has taken her far and wide to Sweden, Italy, and now back to the United Kingdom. Beyond her passion for teaching, she's a lifelong learner herself, holding roles at Google, Microsoft, and Apple, as well as being a Google innovator. She is constantly seeking new knowledge and opportunities to grow. Her academic pursuits include courses in senior management and a completion of an MSc in education. She had the privilege of sharing her insights through platforms like TED Talks, Spark events, and keynote presentations, and also now today's conference. One of the highlights of her career was leading a national hackathon competition where students secured victory for 2 consecutive years. Notably, the winning teams included a female leader who has gone on to run a successful company, as well as an all-girls team. This experience has allowed her to forge connections professionally, globally, and enriching learning experiences for both staff and her students. Her ongoing mission involves promoting STEM education for girls and integrating emerging technologies like AR and VR into the curriculum. She is dedicated to providing inspiring role models and fostering a sense of hope and achievement in students as they leave school. To her, this serves proof that life is a continuous journey of learning and growth, and she finds immeasurable satisfaction in witnessing the impact of education on young minds. So, with all that in mind, let's begin.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Harvey, for such an amazing introduction, and thank you to the IST community. Just feels really good that I can share my experiences with everyone here. Yeah, this is something I'm very passionate about. I've been in education for over 20 years, and 20 years ago, there was a gender gap. And now when we talk about equality and diversity, inclusiveness, I don't see it. So I've been doing a lot of research about that. So it's just go on. So this is me, Sandy Bansal. I've just finished my master's in education and got an honorary doctorate with all my life experiences as well. So honored to share that with everyone here as well. And one of the topics I will be talking about is bridging the gender gap in technology, challenges and the opportunities that arise. Things like what I would like to be talking about in today's session is about the innovation we have, the creativity that girls actually bring into technology, about the economic growth, social equity, technological advancement, and the global competitiveness we have. So addressing the gender gap in technology, particularly in education and AI, not only is a matter of social justice, but also an economic and strategic imperative. And by bridging this divide, we can together with a team unlock that full potential to drive positive change and create a more inclusive and prosperous future for all. So here on the screen, I have brought up some pictures, and when you look at these pictures, you can see that actually women in technology isn't now. We've been doing this for years. And if you actually research the first women that were in education, I think it goes like 650 AD. It just goes, I mean, it's amazing how far we can go back and see how many females have been in STEM. And so it's just something that we don't really talk about when it comes to technology. So celebrating the women that have always pioneered STEM and the future growth. So what is our problem? Well, the definition of the gender gap, it's all about the definition is disparity in participation, representation, and the opportunities. Increasing the various dimensions in education, employment, leadership roles, access to resources and opportunities. And then we are characterized by lower participation rates, unequal representation in leadership positions, and persistent barriers. So according to the World Education Forum, approximately only 22% of the global, I will rephrase that, 22% of women represent the AI workforce. And globally, in the technology industry, only 30% of women represent, for example, in programming or engineering. Statistics of gender disparity, things like the leadership and decision-making roles. We do have, unfortunately, very much underrepresentation of women in leadership positions. Therefore, it affects the decision-making processes and the culture, organizational culture. There is that gender pay gap. And now, when I talk to many other women in technology, private or public sector, we are very much earning less than our male teammates in the same position doing the same job. Then what does this do? It brings up the segregation, the bias in performance, and lack of transparency in the salary negotiations. In AI, especially when it has exploded big time last year, women are still underrepresented in AI research and the academia. And I think it worked out to be that 80% in the academia are males and only 20% represented by women. In AI research, again, biases in algorithms and technologies, it affects their fairness and, again, inclusivity and ethical implications. So what are the factors contributing to the gender gap? Well, you've got the culture and societal stereotypes, and there's obviously the biases, which then influences the individual's career choices and opportunities here. And that therefore technology related fields, I think it's still considered that men are the more technology type and the women are more for caregiving or non-technical roles. When I was in my school in Italy, a lot of girls chose not to do computer science because their parents were telling them that women get pregnant and they are better suited for office jobs, whereas the other side, the technology side, is better left for men. And this was 5 years ago, and the parents were much younger than me. So it is the society, it's that stereotyping and the thinking. And then that contributes to the gender gap in STEM education and then further on to employment. What I've also done is, whilst I was on my master's course, I met some amazing professionals, and the women that were maths teachers, for example, also said how they were segregated in their lecture rooms because there were like 10 women and maybe 100 men, but the men didn't engage with the women in there. So it's unfortunate that we still see that there is that gap. Also, those who do make it in the technology society, in that workforce, it's not represented lower down. So we don't see enough role models. And especially for those who aspire to be in technology. The challenges that succeed in the field, the support networks, the mentorship opportunities, and the representation matters, like where is the diversity, the race, the ethnicity, and other identities? Why don't we see the real workforce? The unconscious biases in hiring and promotions, that can influence. Like if I'm going to say, well, why am I doing technology? Because the men always get hired, or certain people get hired, or they get promoted. Assumptions about women's competence. I can tell you, teaching and knowing my technology in this digital society, I am still mansplained in my job. And it is quite, in fact, now I laugh about it, but it's actually quite sad, because it's how do I educate the future girls about saying, you know what, you just have to laugh it off because you have to believe in yourself. But it's sad that I have to do that. And then addressing these unconscious biases, such as awareness, education, and the systematic changes. Then you've got the gender gap in AI. As I said earlier, that with this explosion, that not many women are represented. And they are underrepresented in such fields, and especially in research. A small percentage of AI researchers, data scientists, and professionals do work in AI development. But again, we don't see or hear about them. And the limit of opportunities for women hinders the field's potential for innovation and this inclusivity. So the gender gap in AI, challenges faced by women include workplace biases and discrimination. There are these systematic barriers, and they affect their career advancement and opportunities. Gender bias in these AI algorithms, they perpetuate stereotypes and inequalities. And then the gender bias discrimination in hiring, promotion, and salary negotiation, representing the leadership roles. Again, same as everything else. It is that undermining, belittling women according to men. I do feel, I could be wrong, you can put it in the chat if you want. I do feel that women have to make a noise to be heard a lot more than their male partner. The isolation and lack of support networks could make imposter syndrome due to the male-dominated nature of the field. So there are possible solutions. So what do we do? So we can promote STEM education and engagement from an early age. I do feel like early exposure to AI and STEM, and I think my co-hosts earlier on during the day were talking about this, is how at a school at an early age we bring in this AI and bring it into the schools education, and we can bring it in and share it amongst the students, but then build on that. Also aim at promoting STEM from an early age, but then not stop when the students finish that primary age from 11, but continue on doing this until they can decide what they want to do. And the purpose of how important technology and STEM is for them to move on into the future, because that's going to be the future for them. Giving them hands-on activities in schools, bringing in the communities, providing equitable access to resources and opportunities for all students, regardless of gender or background, and engaging the other stakeholders involved, the parents, the teachers, supporting and encouraging STEM outside of the classrooms. In my classrooms, I try, because I have these students that think, oh, why do I need technology? Why do I need to learn this? But then I say, you have a phone, and then how does the phone work? But why do I need to know when someone else can do it? It's trying to take that kind of attitude out of the classroom and, you know, get the kids excited and get the parents to support. Create inclusive learning environments. We should, you know, try and engage with what's happening in the world at the moment. And I saw something, Loughborough University, based in the UK, had a session with students, but they had like an AI or an engagement TV by a bus stop, and these lecturers were in Loughborough. It's further north of in England, but they were based at their university, but they were able to engage with passers-by students who were in London by this particular bus stop. It was amazing to see how AI transformed, and just another way of engaging the community, but having more of that. So different other strategies could be diverse perspectives, examples of all students, providing professional development and training for the community, for teachers, for parents, on how to be diverse and equal and inclusive in the classroom. In my teachings abroad, we invited parents in of different backgrounds. And in England, and I could be wrong here, someone correct me if they want, if they can. We don't bring parents into classrooms because of GDPR. Do we go too far on that? I don't know, but it'd be nice to bring in our community and talk about this. Establishing supportive and welcoming spaces to explore and pursue technology-related interests. On on that, I'm going to say I met this really nice guy called Nick. He's the director of esports. Today, he just helped me set up a day where I can take girls from my school to understand about esports and the business and marketing side of that. And I am grabbing that because that is what I need for my students to say, hey, technology is fun. That brings on to like mentorship support networks for women. Women helping navigate challenges and advance in technology related careers, initiatives to encourage mentorship, such as having programs, mentorship programs for female students and professionals, creating networking opportunities, providing mentorship training and resources for mentors and mentees. I know that many women in tech groups have started their own not-for-profit women in tech groups to encourage women in technology and having that support network, that nothing's passed down to students who aspire to go into technology. Okay, so why do we need all of this? Well, the impact of gender diversity on AI development and applications. It's critical for the development of AI technologies that are fair, they're inclusive, and it's ethical. Diverse teams are more effective identifying biases and designing AI systems that reflect a broader range of perspectives and experiences. And then it's better equipped to address the societal implications of AI, including the privacy, security, and social justice. The way I've started to encourage girls also is when it comes to computer science, it's actually 10% programming and 90% problem solving. But then on the other side, and I believe there's research on this, that women, the girls, are more creative than males. Now, it could be the genes thing, that girls have this vision, this visual, how they want to, how they see things. And that is what's the males can use the programming side, but it's that creativity and the innovation that we want to bring the other side along. Increasing the gender diversity can lead to the creation of AI applications that better serve diverse populations. So the implications of diversity, well, advocacy efforts are essential for promoting diversity and inclusion in the workplace and AI research. You have strategies which could include the policies and practices that promote gender diversity and equity in hiring, promoting, and the retention of staff. Supporting the initiatives that address unconscious biases and discrimination in AI algorithms and technologies. And then collaborating with industry leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders. So here's a couple of case studies and success stories. So there's a Girls Who Code program, providing coding education and opportunities to girls from underserved communities. You have AnitaB.org that hosts the Grace Hopper celebration. And you've got the Microsoft DigiGirls program that offers workshops and events to pursue careers in technology and STEM fields. So decreasing the gender gap in technology addresses the gender gap. It promotes inclusivity. It challenges the different kinds of stereotypes, and it fosters an environment that values diversity and equity. It helps to provide support and encouragement. And it sees everyone as a team. It brings everyone together. And sometimes, you know, just bouncing ideas off of someone who's not the same thinker as you helps to promote and actually value whatever project someone's working on. I want to talk about this role model, Fei Fei Li. She works in academia, and she's one of the researchers, has done a lot of research in AI. Rana Calabi has been working on facial recognition for AI and has her research done, and has her own company as well. And she's one of the best role models for AI. And then finally, Joe Buolamwini has spoken out loud, again, made this noise about how to bring diversity, inclusiveness when it comes to AI as well. The future outlook in technology and AI can lead to increased innovation and competitiveness in the global market. By harnessing this full potential, organization can develop more inclusive and impactful technologies, and it can enhance creativity, problem solving, and decision-making processes. And the importance of ongoing efforts to promote diversity, you can achieve gender equity and diversity, and prioritizing diversity inclusion in the policies, practice, and decision-making processes. And this continues to address the systematic barriers and biases we have in technology and AI. I have to say that in my current A-level, these are the students who are going on to university. I have a female student who has a mind-blowing programming head at the moment, is doing an amazing project at the moment and helping the males in the class. We don't see it male, female. We see it as a team coming together and helping each other out. So just want to play this video.
These case studies and success stories highlight the importance of initiatives aimed at bridging the gender gap in technology and AI, showcasing the contributions of women in the field and illustrating the positive impact of diversity on innovation and problem solving. By recognizing and amplifying these success stories, we can inspire and empower more women to pursue careers in technology and contribute to the advancement of the field.
Now, I have to say, this was all AI generated. The voice was AI generated. The video at the back was AI generated as well. Messing around with it. AI is an amazing thing that's happened that can only help, and we can make it enhance better.
These case studies and success stories highlight the importance of initiatives.
So just wanted to repeat that one more time, just in case you never heard that. Okay, so conclusion, recap of the points discussed is that gender gap in technology highlights disparities in enrollment, representation, and opportunities for women. The factors contributing to the gender gap include cultural stereotypes, lack of representation, and unfortunately, we do have those biases. Strategies and initiatives aimed at addressing the gender gap were examined. inclusive environments, and advocating for diversity inclusion in the workplaces. And then case and studies and success stories, bridging the gender gap, as well as trying to foresee the future of closing this gender gap and being a team with the person next to us. So my final quote here is, together, let us commit to bridging the gender gap in technology and AI, and to creating a future where diversity, equity, and inclusion are central pillars of our technological advancement and progress. And then on to questions and answers. Dr. Harvey, I don't think I can hear you.
Hey, Michael, we just need you to unmute. You're saying so many things so animatedly.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Yeah, that's probably the reason.
Yes,
Still
there we are. There we are.
Still a kind of holdover from COVID times. I was on mute. Anyway, now mihi nui, Sandy, for your insightful presentation and for everyone who participated in the discussion today. I hope everyone in the session found this section on gender gap in technology and education and AI informative and engaging. So in terms of kind of my ideas when I was listening to it, have you read the book Man Made by Tracy Spicer?
No, I haven't. I've been reading so many other researches and books. That's probably one I've missed.
Yeah, so basically she takes the changes in technology and the idea that artificial intelligence is a construct from 1957 when a group of old men decided, oh, well, this is what artificial intelligence is. And she deconstructs that and argues, well, actually, algorithms and computer programming have been around for thousands and thousands of years. Take, for example, from New Zealand, the Kōwhaiwhai decorations used. That's an algorithm used by the female weavers, for example. And the idea that all the early programmers, like Bletchley Park, were all female. But then money came into the equation, and then it became lucrative. So then man took over the position of being programmers. So yeah, I recommend that you have a look at that particular book. I was also thinking from my own teaching experience around technology, the idea of getting community involvement. Because one case study I had was when we had a co-ed school, so boys and girls together. The boys did not want to sew at all. Soft materials was not for them. The girls said, electronics, no, that's not for me. I'm a girl. So what we did, we actually brought in New Zealand. One of the parents was a member of the New Zealand Police Force, and they were looking to design a kind of harness for search dogs, which required sewing and it required electronics. And it was a way actually using community involvement to get both genders on side in terms of actually learning new skills. The girls enjoyed the electronics by incorporating into soft materials. The boys enjoyed actually doing a bit of sewing in order to incorporate the electronics. So working again as a team to kind of solve a problem. Yeah, so that's kind of my own experience.
Yeah, so Kayla's just put a question. How do I handle difficult questions?
Yeah, so how do you handle difficult conversations about the importance of having women in leadership?
Actually, I haven't had difficult conversations. I'm an observer. I think from my, when you do the personality test, I'm an introvert. I just listen, and then I just laugh about it afterwards. And but then sometimes, a man, if he wants to do something, let me sort the network out. Let me do this. I'm like, yeah, okay. If that makes you feel good, it actually saves me time. I can go do something else. But it is difficult. I think it does become frustrating when a man sort of like talks down, and you're like, hey, you know, been there, done that many years before you have. I don't know, move on. It is very, very difficult, I think. And then I saw someone else put up, they enjoy teaching technology in an all-girls school. I think that's, yeah, I think teaching to girls, just getting them to see something different. Who would you want to collaborate with on your next project? Oh, I don't know. There's so many things I want to do. So I turn a big number this year. Actually, I would love to retire, live on an island, probably like New Zealand, but I don't think that's going to happen yet. But I don't know. I would love to spend some time in these big companies, tech companies, just seeing how they work, just going behind the scenes. I think that would be really interesting.
So Margaret's saying 35 is your big number, but
no, really? Oh yeah, 35. Yes.
Great. Yeah, so if there's no further questions from the audience, thank you again very much for that conversation, because it's something I've actually been deep diving in myself, not necessarily in artificial intelligence, but again, the idea of diversity in teams and the importance of diversity in teams. So that's kind of resonated with me. So in terms of, if you'd like to know more about what you've learned in this amazing session, scan the QR code on your screen or click on the link in the chat to access a digital template to share your takeaways from this session. Be sure to share your takeaways on social media using hashtag Global Impact and hashtag ISTEGlobal. Yeah, so thanks for that. So if you want to register early for ISTE Live, we encourage you to register today and venture into 1,000+ sessions, from hands-on sessions to live demos and learning. And any other slides? There we go. And connect, of course. In the meantime, be sure to check out the ASCD plus ISTE Connect, a virtual space to teach, share, and collaborate with like-minded educators on our digital community forum. And another initiative we have is on the ISTE Community Leader Program is the Featured Educator. We select 2 educators per month to be featured on our social media pages for the incredible work they are doing in the classroom. You can even nominate yourself or someone you know from a link in the chat. So in terms of the next session, it is going to be the amazing Great Global Bake Off, say no Fielding, and I with Stephanie Howell and Ivo Hanan. So I'd just like to bring everybody on board who's working behind the scenes so we can all share our success together.
Congratulations, great job.